Gayatri, and thank you so much for joining me. I wanted to talk about electric pressure cooking because electric pressure cooking is amazing when it comes to saving you time, getting you some extra help with getting meals on the table really quickly. And pressure cooking, if you've never cooked with a pressure cooker before, has come a long way. You know, with pressure cooking, with the old pressure cookers where you had to be extra careful because of safety issues, the electric pressure cookers have come a long way and they're pretty safe to use. So I want to start by talking to you about benefits of pressure cooking. One of the first benefits of pressure cooking is absolutely time. It is super fast, super easy, and it's one of those things where you can just throw in the ingredients in the pot and you don't have to have pre-planned that. Like, you don't have to worry about thawing out your chicken or soaking your lentils. With electric pressure cooking, it will take care of it very quickly. And you know, as we talk about possibly back to school and back to work, let's just face it, you know, we don't know what all that might bring, but we definitely have to make sure that we get meals on the table. And we're all busy. So this is how you make meal times quicker and faster without having to do the drive-through or the pickup. Okay. The other benefit of pressure cooking is flavor. Because foods cook quickly, it actually does preserve that flavor. It's not going to dry out your meats. It's not going to leach out the nutrients. So those are really important benefits of pressure cooking. This electric pressure cooker is called the Quick Cooker. It is a Pampered Chef Quick Cooker, and it is a hero in my kitchen. It sits actually right here on this counter, and we use it for breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert. You know, it gets used all the time because it can do everything. And you know what? The hardest ingredient to find for any recipe is time. Don't you agree? So this is why I pressure cook. And as I said, it does everything for breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert. So for breakfast, you can make the easiest hard-boiled eggs, or you could make oatmeal from steel-cut oats right in here. You can do soups and stews and chicken and veggies. It actually has 16 fully programmable and customizable settings. So here, let's read them here. You can sear right in here. So you can start searing your veggies or your chicken before you add other things, and it will cook right in here. You can steam your veggies. You can slow cook. And yes, you really can slow cook in here. It does have a slow cooker lid that you can put on here and watch your veggies or your meats and your pot roast cook. You can do your chicken and poultry. You can do beef and pork. You can do seafood. You can do stews and soups. It's got the white rice setting, the brown rice setting, the whole grain. So I love doing my quinoas in here. Beans, and I'm talking about dried beans that that you forgot to pre-soak, or lentils. And here's the thing, when you cook them in here, you're saving yourself a lot of money in the preservatives. The money part, it's pretty easy. You're not buying the cans, and the same thing with the preservatives. You know, the cans, to last as long as they do, have things you don't need in them, like the preservatives, the stews and chilies, and of course my very favorite setting is the desserts. Okay, let's talk about some safety features for this thing before I go on to how to start pressure cooking and how to use all of this. First things first is, let's put it together, because then I can talk about the safety features once it's put together. So, like most pressure cookers, it will have a lid, and it will have a silicone ring. The silicone ring you have to take out for deep cleaning, and that's really important. So when you put it back in, this thing goes in my dishwasher, by the way, and I just put it in the dishwasher after every use. So let me come closer and I'll show you. You just slide that in so it fits underneath that rim. This is the most important part about pressure cooking, is making sure that your ring is in properly because when that ring is not in properly, your pressure cooker will not come to steam and it will not cook. And you may have a little bit of a mess because you may have liquids coming out of it. So that ring has to be in properly. What I really love about this Pampered Chef one is that we have some different colored rings, you know, so you can have one just for desserts or one for your meats or things that may have a lot of odor, so that you're not mixing those. So we have different ring options. And then the other valve that you want to make sure is on is this one. And again, I take it out every time after every use, and it just snaps in. So other pressure cookers also have, I'm sure, a similar type thing. And this is your safety valve or your pressure valve that will rise up, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Ours has, you know, a unique shape where one end will go in, and the little silicone little end that just fits right in there, so you can kind of see, and it's in there safely. And then it has the pressure release valve that fits right up here. You can see on ours that the steam picture lines up with the steam picture here. And then this is a manual steam release, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. Okay, so putting this all together, here is what's important and the safety features of this when you're looking at a pressure cooker. I love the fact that this one has a handle on the bottom. So if I need to move it, I'm not going to put my lid ajar for any reason. That's number one. Number two, here, I'll do it this way, as if you can see this. This is a manual steam release. So usually I'm standing on that side of the pressure cooker, and when I manually release the steam, it is going to be so far away from me if I'm standing on that side that I'm not going to burn myself. And this manual steam release can actually just stay engaged till all the steam is out. The other couple of features are, when the pressure cooker comes to full steam, this little thing that we put in, the little red thing, will pop out, and you'll be able to see it visually that it's out. When the steam is fully out and it's okay to open, that red valve will just drop down. Okay, a couple of other things that are important. You will always cook in a liner. You will never put water directly into the quick cooker or any pressure cooker where the electronics are. You will always have this liner. I actually love the fact that I have a couple of liners so that I can switch back and forth, or if I'm making more than one thing in my pressure cooker, I can easily do that. I also love the fact that this thing, the silicone stretch and fit lids, the medium one fits on this perfectly. So if I have any food that I want to store, I just put my stretch and fit lid on here. So it's a stretch of these, a set of these three lids, and the medium one, they fit our stretch and fit bowls. The medium one fits on here pretty easy, and that's how I store it in the fridge if I don't want to empty it out and, you know, have a few less dishes for the next day. These are also perfect, by the way, for anything that doesn't have a lid, or like watermelon. I hate saran wrap or aluminum foil, and these take care of it. Okay, so this is something you'll always have in there. Some of the other things that you might want to look for if you're looking for a pressure cooker and you're in the market for some is some of the accessories. Pampered Chef one, you can buy just the quick cooker, or you can buy a ceramic pot with it, which is great for doing rice or grains. You can also, of course, do the dessert. So this is the mini bundt pan that fits right in here. You can also do my favorite, the spring foam pan for cheesecakes. Absolutely love this. We have the stackable egg racks, and these you can steam 2 dozen eggs in here, you know, to make them hard boiled. Okay, and in here, you can also put in 6 of your prep bowls, 3 on each layer, with the silicone lids. And you can make little quiches in here, little frittatas, key lime dessert. So many little things you can make in here, and 3 fit on this rack and 3 on the other. So they're great, easy, servable desserts. And they do come with the silicone lids that are safe to use in here. We also have steamer baskets, and they come in a set of 2. So if you like steaming your veggies, how easy is it to put something in here, and they all fit right in here. So that's all the accessories that we have for the quick cooker. Okay, I want to talk about how quickly things cook. I'm going to bring this closer. It takes 6 minutes to make hard-boiled eggs in here, guys. Pretty quick. Depending on the beans and how hardy they are, they may take anywhere from 5 minutes to 40 minutes. And this is dried beans that I'm talking about. Yesterday, we did some chickpeas or garbanzo beans, and they were dried. They were not pre-soaked for any length of time, and they literally took 40 minutes. So if you are like me and you don't plan out your dinners way ahead of time, and you come home from work and you want to just get a meal on the table, just literally throw the ingredients in and you're done. But some of the other grains in here, you can do your couscous in like 1 minute. You can do your rice in about 4 minutes, brown rice in about 15 minutes. So quinoa takes 3 minutes, and that's one of my favorites. And this is all timed after it comes to pressure. As we get into maybe root vegetable season and squashes, think about how hard it is for you to spend some time getting your butternut squash cut up and got in the oven and all that fun stuff. So this, in the quick cooker, the butternut squash, if it's cut in half lengthwise, is going to take you 13 minutes. If you peel it in and cut it into cubes, it's going to be 5 minutes. Cauliflower is going to take a minute. You can make the best mashed potatoes in here in about 5 minutes. So it comes with this guide, and it will walk you through how to get started. We're going to get started and do something very simple in here. But again, here's a guideline for all your meats and poultry. I mean, it's pretty quick. You can kind of look here. The frozen chicken is going to be about 30 minutes. The ground beef is about 12 to 14 minutes. The pork ribs are about a little over an hour. I mean, it's still very quick to cook in here. And it does come with several recipes. The rice pilaf is really yummy. The vegetable root mash is going to be done in about 32 minutes. You can proof your breads and yogurts in here, which is one of my favorite things to do for homemade breads. Again, there's several recipes. I want to point out risottos in here. Yummy and super quick. They're perfect one-pot meals. Okay. The pasta. Oh my gosh, throw in raw pasta with your herbs and whatever you want for a sauce. In 6 minutes, guys, pasta's done. This is faster than water boils sometimes, right? Polenta. One of my favorites is a spinach and lentil soup in here. It's vegan and I love it. Okay, salmon is really great in here is what I've heard lots of folks say. I'm a vegetarian, so I haven't had it. My favorite is the cheesecake. And this cheesecake is so easy, no water baths, none of that mess and fuss needed. My 15-year-old actually makes our cheesecakes in here. So this is the Quick Cooker Cookbook. Okay, I want to quickly talk about the do's and don'ts. But before I do, I want to start off by just telling you that we are going to make some hard-boiled eggs in here, because that's one of the easiest things to make, and I want to show you how easy that is. And then we're going to talk about some do's and don'ts of pressure cooking. Okay, so with pressure cooking, you always need the liquid because that's what's going to make the pressure and cook it. So we're gonna put 1 cup of water in here. I did forget to grab that, so I'm going to grab that. All right, so I have 1 cup of water. I'm gonna use my egg whites. I'm gonna set them in here. You know, if you've never pressure cooked, some of the ideas for starting pressure cooking would be like to start with the eggs, because you really can't mess them up. They're super easy, and they're always perfect and easy to peel. So each tray fits 12 eggs. If you wanted to do that many, you can do actually two dozen, or yeah, 24, 2 dozen in here at one time. I only need about 8 for dinner tonight and for making some egg salad, so that's what I'm gonna do. But if I wanted to do more, I would just, set that, and I would put the second tray on top and close the lid. But I don't need the second tray for today. So that's in. I'm gonna close it up. I'm gonna plug this in. Listen for that fun R2-D2 sound here as I turn it on. So you can, again, do the preset settings, or you can do the fully customizable option. So I'm going to use the custom option and press time, and I only need it for 6 minutes. So it's going to be 6 minutes after it's come to pressure. Here is another great feature of this quick cooker. You know how when you're cooking and something always comes up as you're partway done? Well, once you throw things in here and you've closed the lid, you are done. You don't need to stand over it. You don't need to babysit it. You don't need to stir it, anything like that. And the best part is when it's done, it's going to move to a warmer warming setting, so that it's not going to burn your food. It's just going to go to the warmer setting, and it's going to keep your food warm till you're ready to eat it, which is really, really important, because not everybody eats at the same time, and I don't like warming up food multiple times for when everyone's ready to eat. So I like just leaving it on the warming setting on here. Okay, so while that's doing its thing, let's talk about my top 5 reasons of why I like to pressure cook. As I said, number 1 is you don't have to plan those meals ahead of time. Everyone gets to work, or gets wherever they need to, and they forget to have pre-planned for that meal. If you forgot to take the meat out of the freezer, or there's nothing in the house that's almost ready to make, you don't have to stop at the store or do the drive-through or pick up. With the pressure cooker, you can cook your frozen meats without thawing them and put them on the table in about 30 to 40 minutes. That's less than the time it would take to just thaw the meat. Here is another reason, for those busy days after work or busy days, you don't want to spend all your time in the kitchen making that meal that you might make on a weekend, where you might have more time. So in here, you can make super easy weekend meals with weekday efforts. Really, like if you want to make a pot roast, and between kids' activities and everything else going on, it's really not an option on a weeknight. Well, with this, just put it in here, and it will cook 70% faster than it would in the oven or on stovetop. So it's the fastest way of cooking big cuts of meat that are still juicy and tender. Like I said, you will save money because you're not picking up. And again, you'll save money just from not having to buy those expensive, upgrades like cans or prepared versions from the store. My favorite reason is it really is easy. You can spend time doing other things than cooking besides standing over here and stirring or babysitting it. Go do whatever you need to do. Get this done. Go work on whatever you need to, and it's gonna be done. It's gonna beep to tell you it's done, and when it's done, it's gonna go to the warmer setting. And The other thing is, you know what? With this, you can get so creative. You can make and experiment with new foods and flavors that you may not have thought of before. Just pretty much anything. Like I said, breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert. It's ready for you. Okay. So yes, I highly encourage you to try pressure cooking if you haven't done that, because really, imagine walking in the door after a busy day, throwing the ingredients in here and walking away, and when they're done, it's warm, it's warming, and you can go to the table. If you go to my website, I have 40 recipes that are ready for you to help rock your meal times, and or message me if you need a link for those. I'm happy to send that to you. And I'll tell you a couple of my favorites are the spinach lentil soup that I make in here and the cheesecakes. Definitely my absolute favorites. Okay. We talked a little bit about cleaning this pressure cooker. As I said, when this is all done, I would remove all the little pieces that we used to put it together, and especially the silicone ring, put it in the dishwasher. The rest of it you can hand wash or put it in a little basket. And then the other tip is use those different colored rings for different things to prevent that odor from spreading. One of the other tips I have for you, if you can't get the odor out, use some baking soda and a water paste to help get that odor out. Okay, one of my favorite tricks for if the sealing ring is a little loose is to stick it in the freezer. Yep, stick it in the freezer. And it takes about 30 minutes for it to shrink down, and it will fit a little snugger in there and hold that pressure better. All right, so we talked about cleaning it all up. One of the other tips I do have for you is just use a little brush. I have I'll show you. I have my little dual head brush that I use to clean the little corners and nooks and crannies that my fingers can't get into. So just make sure you have something that you can clean with a small, like a small brush that you can clean with. The other tip I recommend is after every use, just take a wet cloth, a dry, like on the drier side, or a paper napkin, and clean around the rim, around the pressure cooker. As you can see, this did come to full pressure, and it's starting to count down the time. And this little red valve has popped up to let me know that this is at full pressure. So we're gonna let it finish its cycle. And let's talk about some do's and don'ts of pressure cooking. As we talked about all the great benefits of pressure cooking has become more and more popular in many households. But, some people are just hesitant to try it because it can seem scary. But here is some very basic instructions to help you get started. First of all, just read the manual that comes with it. That's one of the most important things you can do, because you want to be aware of all the safety features and the particular ins and outs of your particular model. So read the instruction manual. Every pressure cooker will have a different set of instructions and the safety features that you should really know about. Number 2 is to make sure that you have enough liquid for your pressure cooker to build up enough pressure. So that's the most important rule that you need to follow. You need at least 1 cup of liquid, unless the recipe says otherwise, but usually the rule of thumb is at least 1 cup. And that's important for your food to cook properly and for it to come to pressure sufficiently. Number 3 is crack open that box and pull that pressure cooker out. Just do it, because there is no other way to learn besides giving it a try. Start with some easy recipes. And this quick cooker has 3 easy recipes to get you started. We're doing the easy peel eggs today. The beans, like I said, without pre-soaking, are super easy. You just wash them and throw them in with enough liquid. and put it on the bean setting and let it come to pressure. Here's another tip. If it doesn't feel like it's cooked enough or it's overcooked, well, you just decrease the time next time. It's fully customizable and you can move it up and down, you know, to make something a little firmer or a little not as firm. You just heard it beep. So I'm going to hit cancel on here. And I'm going to let it just sit here and just naturally release its steam for about 6 minutes, okay? So I'm going to let it do its thing for about 6 minutes. And the third recipe that I highly recommend that you try, especially if you're just getting started with pressure cooking, is a very simple salsa chicken recipe. Very, very easy. Can't go wrong, really. Okay. Number 4, yes, is use the cooking methods, the pressure cooking methods to build that flavor. Those flavors are maintained and, you know, again, the nutrient value is preserved when you're pressure cooking. I think we have a visitor. I think my dog seems to smell some food. Always have to use an inner pot. And the inner pot is amazing. With that sear setting, you can saute your veggies or your meat directly right in here. So it's a one-pot meal. One-pot meals means less dishes. It's a long one, definitely. Number 5, make desserts and side dishes in the pressure cooker. The electric pressure cookers make it, you know, safer because they give you the visual clue, as well as you know, some are almost impossible for someone to open while there's pressure inside. But regardless, don't attempt to open a pressure cooker when it's at pressure. Here's another thing. Don't release the pressure before it's time. Follow the recipe or the guidelines that you have for that recipe, because you want to make sure that the pressure, because that's what's doing the cooking, is done what it's supposed to do. And the recipe will tell you either is it a manual release or a natural release. The natural release means just when it's done, let it be, don't touch it till the pressure comes down and it's all done. The manual release means that you press this button and you let the steam come out. Okay. This next tip is really important. Is don't overfill the pressure cooker. Most pressure cookers, the inner lining will have a max fill line to show you that that's the max you can fill. Don't fill any more than that. Otherwise, you're going to have water and liquid coming all down the sides and getting into the electrics, which is going to ruin your pressure cooker. Don't do it. Usually, the rule of thumb is filling the inner lining about 2/3 full. That's about the max fill line for most pressure cookers. Number 4, don't add thickeners. Pressure cookers work to work off the steam from the liquid inside, so it's important that you don't add things like roux and cornstarch before the food, you know, starts cooking. When you cook a thick sauce, like soups or stews, adding a thickener too soon can kind of just mess up how the steam is released from that thicker liquid. So just do that at the end, okay? And my last tip that I'm going to give you is don't give up. It is really, really easy once you just figure out how pressure cooking works for you. So don't give up, really. Just try it out. And if it's not to your liking the first time, try it again. It's really going to be to your advantage to learn how to pressure cook. All right. It is almost 6 minutes. So I am going to manually release the steam. So like I said, that steam is coming way off over there where I am not going to burn myself. Didn't take long because, again, there wasn't too much liquid in there. But just keep in mind, if you have a very full pot with a lot of liquid, it might take a little longer to come to pressure. And it might take a little bit longer for the steam to fully depressurize. So once it's all done, already you can see there's no more steam coming out. My red valve has popped in. I'm going to take that off and I'm going to open this up. Okay. My next tip for you is get something to pull those racks or even the inner liner out with, because that gets hot. All right, so I like to use my little microwave grip. So if I had food in here, I would just pull the whole thing out and take it to the table. Since we have eggs in here, okay, here's my tip for the easiest boiled eggs you'll ever do. So once these are done, I have ice bath here, just water and some ice, and I'm going to take my egg rack out. I also recommend whenever you take things in and out of there that you use a trivet, because it is hot. It has come to pressure and you don't want to just drop it on your counter or whatever it is that you're doing. So use a trivet. Pull my eggs out. I'm going to just put them in the ice bath. So my tip for the quick, easy to peel hard-boiled eggs is a 6-6-6. 6 minutes of pressure cooking, 6 minutes of manual or natural steam release, sorry, and 6 minutes in the ice bath. And once that's done, I promise you it's going to be so easy to peel. It's going to be pretty impressive. So that's a great way for you to make some deviled eggs or an egg salad or just hard-boiled eggs for breakfast that are, you know, ready to go. We love to make a great Tanzanian curry, and the boys call it egg curry. It's beans and coconut. It's vegan. And then we just put some hard-boiled eggs in it for extra protein, which doesn't make it vegan, but otherwise, if you don't use the eggs, it is a great vegan dish. So yeah, if you're making, you know, holiday deviled eggs or anything like that, great way to just get these all done. And again, my favorite part about this pressure cooking thing is I am free to go do what I need to do. I'm not babysitting all of this. All right. I know I said be patient, right? 6 minutes is a long time when you're standing here letting these cool in the ice bath. Let me go get a bowl so that I can put my hard-boiled eggs in there. Let's try it. I'm just gonna roll it on the counter. I'm gonna walk over to my trash can and just peel my egg. Super easy. My peel just kind of comes off almost whole. The first egg I did press a little too hard and I did crush the egg, but it's still very easy to peel. And I don't think it's been full 6 minutes. But there you go. This one I didn't press so hard. You can see how much easier it is to peel. Do you have any questions? Just type it in the chat or message me or shout it out. There you go. That's how easy it is to peel. So I highly recommend you try pressure cooking because it is really an easy way of getting meals on the table. Thank you for joining.